Right, I recorded to the cloud. Okay, Miss Cassandra, over to you.
Thanks so much. Well, thanks so much for having me on. I'm going to share a little bit and then I'm going to pass it over to Chris. Welcome to our Mindset Monday. Super excited for tonight's call. My name is Cassandra Massini. And today I want to share a little bit, a few points that I wrote out that I feel like is super valuable, super important, even for me right now in my business. And I hope you'll take away some golden nuggets from this. So one thing is, we can be doing, all the things, in our business and, have the right mindset, but what is it that you're saying to yourself every single day? I find this to be so, so important. What are you manifesting? How are you talking to yourself? How are you talking about your business, your dreams, your goals? I always like to tell people, you're either, attracting money or you're repelling it, right? So what are those things that you're saying? Maybe it's regarding, hitting, rank. Maybe it's hitting bronze, or getting that new business partner. Are you saying you can do it? Or are you telling yourself, other things around it? My husband and I, Mike, I always catch him. He'll say things like if or but. And I'm like, babe, don't say it like that. Say it, we're going to do this, or I'm going to do this. Even if it hasn't happened yet, act like it has. I just did a short little money manifestation course, and it was really phenomenal. And they talked a lot about, like I said, like, what are you telling yourself, but also like feeling it. And I know Chris talks about this a lot, feeling your goals. Like, what is it going to feel like when you have that item? Make a list of things that you want to accomplish. Like I said, if it is getting to that rank, what are you going to do? Or if it's getting to that certain income, or maybe it's earning some extra, money for Christmas. The holidays are coming up. How is it going to feel that you can provide these gifts for your kids, or again, whatever it may be? How will you feel about that? And act like you've already received it and be in gratitude for it. So this is a little exercise that I did. So I encourage you to do that. But again, on a day-to-day basis, what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself you can, or you can't, right? Vision board, super important. I know that we're going to be, coming into the next year. If you already have a vision board, amazing. I encourage you to add to it, update it. And if you don't have one, put a vision board for next year. What do you want to accomplish? What are the things that you want to do? What do you want your business to look like? I really encourage you to do that and put that in your office. Vision boards are super powerful. Put dates on them. We have quite a few of them, and things have come true on them. Even if you don't feel like, oh my God, like, how am I going to make that happen? Just don't think of the how, just know that it is going to happen and put it on that board. And I know Chris is going to talk about some goal setting tonight. Another thing is that do things that move forward in your business, right? Like, what are the things that are going to move the needle in your business so you're that much closer to that next goal, right? Income producing activities, you hear that a lot, right? So with that, what are the things? I'm going to list a couple things that are hot, and some of this, if you're not doing, you definitely should do. And a lot of you probably are doing. What's hot right now for social media? Short videos. Listen, this woman right here hates being on video. I don't like it. I don't know what it is, but I've learned to get over that. For the longest time, like, I'm going to do video, and I didn't do it. And now I'm just like, I'm doing them. So you know what? People connect with you. They want to see your face. Like, if you can do as many posts as you want, but I'm telling you, people want to see you. So do short videos, put them on your stories, do polls, give value, things like that. But I'm learning to like them. But that's something I really don't like, but I'm doing them. Doing TikToks, doing reels, things like that. You might not understand them at first. Learn how to do them. I'm sure maybe your team has some trainings. If not, figure it out. But just start somewhere and start implementing them, because all of these things are super hot right now in social media and we don't want to miss the boat on it, right? Eventually, maybe it'll be the next thing or the new thing, but we can, monetize on these trends. So don't feel like you have to be perfect at it to do them. Or again, maybe you're someone that doesn't really care for video like me, but just do them anyways, right? You never know who's going to see your video that will connect with you. You just never know what that can be. So get out of your comfort zone and do those videos. Obviously, asking people are open to taking a look at your products or your business. How many people are you asking, a day? How many new people are you sharing that with? That's definitely a big one to look at as you're looking at your week, as you're looking at your day to day. And I want to share with you, not every day will be perfect. You'll hear people on these calls and you think, gosh, they have it so together and they just look so great. And you see people on social media and leaders and they're like, I can't do what they do. They must never have a bad day. It's not true. Last week, I had a really bad week. I was just in a bad mental funk, and it's okay, but it's not okay to just stop your business, right? Some days we just have to do the things anyways. And it's okay to share and be vulnerable and things like that. But just know not every day will be perfect, but just get close to your why, close to those goals, do those income producing activities, and continue to fill your cup with the mindset, right? Applaud yourself for being on this call tonight, taking time out of your busy day, because this is what's going to prepare your week, and your business, right? So continuing to fill your cup with your mindset day to day, doing those things and being consistently showing up, your business will grow. I want to leave you with this, a quick little example. I've done tons of different Facebook stories on our new skincare. And it's not always what I lead with, but I've done, quite a few and didn't really get much out of it until I did a short video. And then I shared my story, and it didn't even have to probably be my story. It could have been any story, but I did a short video, shared my story, and I got a new customer from it. But if I didn't go out of my comfort zone and do the thing I don't like to do, right? But I know that's what's working. And if I wasn't consistently showing up doing it. So I just wanted to share that small win, because it wouldn't have happened if I didn't do it, right? So with that, I hope you guys got some sort of value out of it. Super excited to hear from Chris tonight. Thank you so much for allowing me to share.
Awesome. As always, thank you so much, Cassandra. Always bringing the heat, always bringing the goods. And tonight, guys, we are going to be going over some processes. What does that mean? It means that we're actually going to take some notes, because I'm going to ask you guys to basically go over something that I've been doing myself. Weeks ago, I shared with you all that, Ricky was asking me, when are you going to build the house? And it was literally that day I'd already decided when we were going to do it by and all that. And I started going through, at that time, I was listening to a course, and I started going through this whole goal setting process and revisualizing. And I went over with you guys, on how to basically affirm, how to basically, we talked about AV, right? How to affirm, visualize, and then basically emotionalize. So that's one of the things you want to do. But tonight, what I want to do is I'm going to go over some P's and Q's. So some P's and Q's, what are some P's and Q's? Well, I'm going to give you some purpose questions that you're going to want to ask yourself. But in starting, I'm gonna start this off with a quick story, because guys, every single one of us have our own genie. And the reason why we want to set our own goals is because, and really get detailed on it, is because we have the magic to create whatever it is that we want in our lives. That we can create the life that we desire through literally visualizing what we want, emotionalizing, going over that. But most people, we've heard over and over and over, you got to write goals, you got to write goals. And then we never do it. Like, how many of us actually have done a vision board? You know, a lot of us haven't done it. Many people, all right, I see a lot of people have done it. Out of the ones that have done it, how many of you all have already experienced things that were on your vision board? And I'll tell you a quick story. Now, this was crazy. Back in, I think it was like 2005. Basically, we did a vision board to where we literally did an event. And at the event, we brought a bunch of vision boards and people were doing their vision boards and all that. Well, my buddy's vision board somehow ended up my vehicle. And basically, I put it up and it was in our living room, like right next to the TV and all that. His vision board ended up in my house. The craziest thing, right? And it was there and I saw it every day. Well, the craziest thing happened in 2008 when I bought a boat. It ended up being the exact boat that was on the vision board, and didn't even realize that I basically created by looking at someone else's vision board constantly. In my house, I ended up with the same brand and the same model boat, totally different boat story than what I normally tell. But literally my first boat that I had ended up being a boat that was on someone else's vision board that was left at my house. That ended up being something I was seeing every day. But then many of us won't do a vision board. See Brittany holding up her vision board, right? So guys, we have the ability to create, and it brings me to the story. There was this guy and he was just having a really, really tough, tough life. And he was just not wanting to continue, I guess is the best way to describe it. So the guy goes up and he's about to jump off a bridge, and he's up on the bridge and he's about to splat and jump off. But as he looked down, he saw this shiny thing bobbing in the water, and he was just so intrigued by it. And he's like, what is that? And he's like, just so distracted that he's like, let me go see what that is before I jump off this thing, right? And when he goes down there, he picks up this bottle and he grabs this bottle and he's like, he opens the top and a genie comes out, and he's like, holy, and this genie comes out, and the genie says, your wish is my command. What do you want? And he's like, well, can I say anything that you want? You need to just tell me what you want and it will be done. So he's sitting there going, wow, what, he used to be in the car business, and he was like, I want to own my own dealership. In fact, I want to have a foreign car dealership. That's what I want. I want a foreign car dealership. The next morning he wakes up in Japan and he has a Chrysler dealership. Point being, guys, is sometimes we have this genie that'll create whatever it is that we want, right? We could be looking at someone else's dream over and over and over, and then we'll create it. The thing is we want to create and be very specific about what we want to create in our lives. We don't want to basically ask our genie to manifest something and it manifests something that's not really what we want, right? We want to manifest what it is that we truly want. But first we have to dig down on, what is my purpose? And who am I and what do I want to create? So here's some purpose questions. And I've been doing this myself. So I'm going to share with you guys what I'm doing. Number one, if you had a year to live, like if you got and basically you were told you had 1 year to live, how would you spend it and who would you spend it with? I want you to really answer these questions for yourself. You don't have to do it right this second, but I want you to think about it. If you only had a year to live, would you be doing something different with your time every day? Would you be going out there? It's amazing. I've asked people in the past, I'll ask them the question like, you hear about somebody losing a limb or something in an accident, and then they get some lawsuit and they get stuff. And if you ask someone, what would your finger be worth? Like if you took your finger off, right? If I could just cut your finger off, how much would you have to get paid to cut your finger off? Or even deeper, like if you had to, how about your hand? If you basically cut your hand off, what is that worth to you? And many people will go, put in the comments, what would you have to get paid to cut your hand off? I'm going to come over with a good saw or something, a little hatchet, or what, we'll take it off. How much would it take for you to say, I'll lose my hand? For what amount of money? And it's funny, I don't even see no amount of money. None. You see that? Everybody's sitting there going, none. So what you're saying is that your hand is priceless. Can we all agree that our hand is priceless? And we don't want to lose our hand. So our hand is priceless, but then you trade your life every single day doing stuff that you don't want to do. Whether it be the job, whether it be, something in your life you're doing that you don't want to be doing, but then you say that your hand is priceless. If your hand is priceless, isn't your life priceless in what you do with your life? Guys, we have to start valuing our life, valuing the time that we spend. So in goal setting, you want to make sure that you can't manage time. Like people say, time management. Well, you can't really manage time. You got to value time. So I like to call it time valuement versus time management. So I'll either spend my time doing something that I enjoy doing, that I want to do, or doing it to create the life to where I can do what I enjoy doing and want to do. Does that make sense? So you want to value your time. So it's time valuement, not time management. You can't manage. We all have 24 hours in a day. So can we agree it's what you do with your time, not how much time you have? So value your time. So if you only had a year to live, what would you do and who would you do it with? Number 2, if you won the lottery and you had $3 million left after taxes, so that's $3 million that you can do whatever you want to do with, what would you do differently than what you're doing today? If you had $3 million, you already paid taxes on it, what would you be doing differently in your life? See, for me, as I started to basically write these things down, started to recognize how I felt about it, it made me feel differently about the time that I spend and where I spend it. So number 3, if you won the lottery, but you found out you only have 3 years left to live, but they're going to be 3 healthy years. So you're not going to be sick. You're not going to be whatever. Like, what would you do if you had 3 years to live, but they're healthy so you can go do whatever you want to do? What would you have to complete for you to rest in peace? For you to say, you know what? My purpose was done. I did what it was I was supposed to do in this life. And I want to ask you this. Not only what would you do, but why would we think about that if we only had 3 years to live? Because we really don't know how long we have to live now. But I want you to write this down. Like, if you had 3 years left to live, they're healthy, what would you do? And what goal? I want you to write one goal that you would finish, so where you can say, you know what, my purpose was done. Number 4. What do you enjoy doing so much that you would do it even if you weren't getting paid to do it? What do you love to do so much that you would do it for free, whether you're getting paid to do it or not, that you would be doing it? It's funny because one of the things that I equate being in the right business or not is when you feel that you would tell people about the product and about the results that you've acquired, whether you were getting paid or not. When you can go out there and tell somebody, even if you weren't getting paid, the value that you got from the product that you're on and what it did for you, it changes the dynamic. So now you're not doing it to get something You're doing it to give something, to give value to someone else. So number 4, what do you enjoy doing so much that you would do it full time, even if you did not get paid to do it? Number 5, what have you always wanted to do, but you haven't had the courage to do it? What in your life have you always wanted to do, but you didn't have courage? You know, it's funny, like I never did like heights. So I would climb stuff that's high because I don't like feeling afraid that I didn't like to go high. So I'd climb high to where it didn't really become a challenge anymore. And then I went skydiving multiple times. And that's a little freaky, right? And even though you know you have a parachute on and all that stuff, it basically still, it's like I'm about to jump out of a perfectly good airplane and it freaks you out a little bit. I remember Ricky jumped, he was in there first, he's like, I'm not doing it. We were done, he's like, I'm doing it again, let's go back up. It's so cool. But you know, the funny part is I was meeting with one of the diamonds the other day, came and stayed the night at my house. And it was funny because in our system, we talk about the very simple questions that we ask. Have you heard about the happy coffee everyone's been talking about? And he tells me this guy has hundreds of customers that he personally has. And he goes, I tell you what, I used that question the other day and it actually works. And I'm like, what have you been doing all this time that you have hundreds of customers and you're not starting up with that question? And I'm like, and of course it works when you ask someone if they've heard of the happy coffee everyone's been talking about. It makes everyone ask the question. But my point is that, you know, we've been working together for a long time and we have a system that we talk about and that we follow, right? And it makes me think of this, like if you were going to go up in a plane and you're about to jump out, and are you going to pay attention to the system on what we do, like before you go out? Or are you just going to go, I'm just going to wing it? You're not going to jump out of a plane and just wing it. So don't just wing it in our business. Follow the systems that your team provides for you. I want you to pay attention to the systems and act like you are about to jump out of a plane. And if you were going to jump out of a plane, would you pay attention? Pay attention to the systems, follow directions and do it. Lauren's talking about scuba diving. It's the same thing. Like, guys, the mask comes off and you're breathing. All of a sudden, you're breathing water through your nose and all that. You have to relax. Boom. You have to pay attention. We have a system. Pay attention and do it. So again, number 5 was, what have you always wanted to do, but did not have the courage to do it? And then number 6, what would you do if you were guaranteed, like not just, you know, well, you know, it's possible, you know, this could possibly someday work, but what if you were guaranteed success? That 100% you were guaranteed success, that there was no way you could fail. Would you act differently in terms of prospecting? Would you basically, because this is a reality, we create stories in our minds in terms of prospecting, or we tell ourselves stories on, I'm not good at talking to people, I'm not this, I'm not that. But what it really boils down to is fear. It's the fear of, oh my gosh, I might get rejected. And guys, rejection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. If you literally, like, I mean, how many of you all are married, right? Like you got married, like you had to go through the process of dating someone else. And you don't normally marry the first person that you dated. Now it happens, but most of the time it's a dating process. And the thing is I remember when it used to be fun, like you go out and you meet people and all that stuff. But what if, like, if you went up to somebody and you talked to them about the business and they said no and you dropped dead? Like, then it would make sense to not prospect. It would make sense that rejection is real. But the difference is nothing changes. They're not in your business beforehand. And guess what? They're still not. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what someone says, yes, no, maybe so. But what if you are guaranteed success? And this is a reality, guys. You are actually guaranteed success. But it's a numbers game. And you have to be willing to go through the numbers. And for every single person, the numbers are different. For every person, you're going to have to go. But what happens if you basically brought in that one person that does say yes, and you have a Brittany on your team, or a Ricky, or a Cassandra, or all the incredible leaders that we have in this company? Like, somebody went out and talked to them. And many of those same people that you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, many of them said no before they said yes. And that's the craziest part. I'm telling you that in my businesses over the years, some of my top people are people that told me no over and over and over again because of timing. Guys, no means not now. No means basically nothing changes when someone says no. But if they don't, if you prospect someone and they do say yes, something can change. But if you do not try, there's no possibility that you're going to move forward. My point is that if you were guaranteed success, which you are if you're willing to work the numbers and you stick and stay, you will get your pay. It's a matter of time. I remember my mom told me, you're one person away from a breakthrough. And she didn't know anything about this industry. But she said, you're one person away from a breakthrough. And in that company, basically, I shot to the top. And unfortunately, my mother never got to see what we were able to accomplish. And the thing is that if I would have taken more action sooner, then she would have been able to experience that. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that you are guaranteed success, but you have to be willing to take the swings. You know, the top baseball players strike out 7 out of 10 times. 7 out of 10 times to be in the top of all baseball players. I think that's the number, but I know that they strike out a lot. And it's funny because, and I always talk about the surfing, because I hate freaking falling. Like, I get aggravated in falling. Yesterday, my friend's telling me, he's like, just have fun. Because I get frustrated when I fall. How many of us get frustrated when we're trying something new and we feel like we're failing? The thing is that failing is not falling. Failing is quitting. Because the more you do it, how many of you all ride a bike? And how many of you all never have fallen on a bike? It's impossible. Like, everyone falls on a bike. I don't care who you are, you end up falling on a bike. And the bottom line is that you will not learn how to ride the bike if you're not willing to fall. You will not learn how to create success if you're not willing to go through the failures. It's like when the light bulb was invented, it was asked, how many times, have you basically failed at creating the light bulb? He says, I've never failed at creating the light bulb. I found out 10,000 ways that it didn't work until I found the one way that it did. And the bottom line is that you have to be willing to fall. You have to be willing to take the shot over and over and over again. Guys, I'm watching even videos of doing the surfing and I'm getting better, but I continue to fall over and over and over again. And I asked the pro when I was at this thing, I'm like, how many times did you have to fall to get to that? And they're like, it's just constant. And what happens as you keep doing it, it just makes it look like you don't fall as much, but you still fall. The bottom line is failing is not falling, quitting is falling. So basically, if you were guaranteed success and you could not fail, what would your life look like and what would you do differently? Number 7 is the last one of these. What are the 5 things that you want to be remembered by when you die? What are the 5 things that you want to be remembered by? And it's funny, as I sit there and I think about my mom and all that, like she was my rock in terms of personal development. She's the one that got me into it. Like literally, she used to drive me crazy growing up, but she would read these different stories to me, these positive quotes and all these things. And before I'd leave the house every day, she would make me listen to these stories that she would read to me out of the paper or wherever she would get them. And she would do this every day. And then she would pray for me before we leave and basically pray that we have an army of angels around us and a hedge of protection and all that stuff. And every single day she did that. And that's something that I remember. What are you going to be remembered by? What are the 5 things that you want people to remember you for when you die? So guys, these are some of the things that I've been going through, and I'm going to just go over a couple things real quick. But you know, many times we're certain ways because of our programming, and we create these stories around what it is that we do. And it reminds me of the story of it was funny. Have y'all ever heard the story of the ham, where basically for years and generations, there's this family, and every time they cook a ham, they always cut the ends off the ham. So as the mom is showing her daughter, basically, you know, as she's cooking the ham, she's cutting ends off the ham and basically going in, and the daughter's thinking, you know, she asked, why do you cut off the ends of the ham? And she said, well, because my mom cut off the ends of the ham, and her mom cut off the ends of the ham. That's just what you do. You cut off the ends of the ham. So she's like, but why? So she's like, well, let me call my mom. So she calls her mom, and her mom's like, you know, why do you always cut? You taught me to cut the ends of the ham off. Like, why did you always do that? And she's like, well, because my mom cut the ends of the ham off. And so then they call up grandma, and they're like, we need to get to the bottom of this whole thing about this ham thing. So they call grandma, and they're like, grandma, you know, we've been cutting the ends off the ham. And basically you taught that to my mom, and now I'm doing it too. And I'm teaching my daughter, why do you cut the ends off the ham? She goes, because the pot we had was small enough. We had to cut the ends off for it to fit into the pot. That's the only reason why we cut it off, because it wouldn't fit in the pan that we had. Guys, the thing is that we're holding on to a story that we've been taught by our parents and our parents' parents. And we've been taught, go to school so you can get a good, and you can start off at the bottom and work your way up to the, and the thing is that when you ask, who do you know that's done that has the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of? Who do you know that started off at the bottom and worked their way up? And most of us can't count on more than one hand people that have the lifestyle that they've always dreamed of, that went to school, got a good job, started at the bottom and worked their way up to the top. In fact, if you talk to most millionaires, they're not teaching their kids how to write resumes. They're teaching their kids how to read resumes. They're teaching their kids how to think and surround themselves with people better than them. Guys, what I love about this company, what I love about this industry is you're able to surround yourself with people better than you. You're able to surround yourself with people that have what you want. The people that have already done and forged the way and basically knocked down the trails so you don't have to go through the stuff that they went through. Guys, we're in a place where this company has been putting piece after piece after piece together. It's time to basically quit the program and whatever way you've been cooking the ham because you were taught that way, because your mom taught that way and her mom taught that way. It's time to change the program. It's time to change your thought process, and it's time to press the gas and let's go out there and make this thing happen. I hope you guys got value at it tonight. But what I can tell you, your life is there for the taking. Let's go out there and create. I literally have been going through these processes and writing down these questions and going and visualizing, affirming, and emotionalizing exactly what it's going to be like. And guys, there's people that no matter where you want to be in your life, no matter what you need to go to the next level, there's people in your team, within your support structure to help you get where you want to go. With that being said, everybody have a great night. Love you guys. Rock it out. Take care.
Thank you.
Night,
Thank
everyone.
you so much, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you.
Thank you.